Welcome everybody. Okay, so let me just share my screen. And here we go. So we're going to look at the part 6 of the PET preliminary exam today. A lot of people find this quite difficult, quite tricky. So I'm going to give you the lowdown on how to do this as quickly and as efficiently as possible. There are a few tricks which will make your life easier. So let's get to it. If you're just joining me, let me know that you can hear me okay. Tell me where you're from, say hello, anything, just write to me in the chat, and we will get down to business. So while we're waiting, just for people to get themselves steady and ready, I've got a little question to begin with. Okay, what are the connectors? And yes, I know it's Valentine's Day, so if you're tuning in at the end of the class, you will get a little Valentine's vocab bonus. But right now, the important thing is to have a look at these connectors. So we have a text here, right? I think learning a language, thank you, Robin. I think learning a language is hard. I'm determined and totally dedicated. I think I have what it takes to pass the exam. If I get lazy and don't put the effort in, I will fail. So have a look at this and tell me what you think the connectors might be. This is just a little warm up. I'll give you a couple of clues. This idea is kind of an opposite or a contrast to the second idea. So we need a small word which provides a contrast here. This idea is a consequence, okay? And then again, we have another contrasting idea, but a longer word here. So what do you think? If you're joining me later or you're watching this again, just take a look, have a think, okay? What contrasting connectors can we use? What connectors can we use to explain a consequence? Feel free to write in the chat and let me know what you think could go in the gaps. Let me give you a helping hand. Okay, so contrasting connectors in the green. Okay, and let me do. Okay, consequence. Okay, in the red or the pink. Right. Okay, so let's get to it. Yeah. So the first one, a contrasting connector, is but. Okay, short word. We can use this to balance two ideas. Let me write that here. Okay, so B-U-T, but. Okay, two contrasts. Nice and easy. Okay, good for your writing. This one here is a consequence. I'm determined and totally dedicated, so I think I have what it takes. Yeah. Okay, consequence there. Yeah. Okay, contrasting connector, this one. And the last one, a longer contrasting connector that always goes at the beginning, okay, is however. Yeah, let me write that in for you there. Okay, with a capital. Okay. However, it would be easier, I think, if I typed it, but there we go. And that is another contrasting connector. So these are nice little connectors you can use in your writing. B1, solid connectors. And they can also help in part 6. You noticed I had you filling in gaps there and I didn't give you any words. This is the style of the part 6 PET. So let's continue and get down to it. All right. Now, there are two things. Well, there are a few things, but these are the two things for me which are key for part 6 of the PET exam. We talked about this last week. We've got this picture here of a before and after situation. And okay, not hammer time, grammar time. That's my version of hammer time. I'm showing my age a bit here because hammer time is quite an old-fashioned tune. If you know it, you know, good for you. You may be as old as me if you know it. But I've changed this to grammar time. All right. Now, how do they relate to part 6? Well, as with many of the questions, the key in deciding what is going to go in the gap is about looking at the before. Okay. Yeah, the before and the after to help you understand, to help you get a global picture. And I've said grammar time because this is all about your knowledge of grammar. All right. If you do not have good knowledge of B1 PET grammar, well, you're not really ready for the exam. And I would say keep studying, keep working, and wait till you're ready to start practicing the exam. Now, when you're practicing the exam, if you do have that knowledge, that B1 grammar down, if you're on point with B1 grammar, this will help you. So before we go into detail about, you know, how to do this, what does part 6 look like? Well, you can see here, this is an example about Cornish pasties. All right. This is a particular British dish that you may or may not like. You may come from countries that have better cuisine than British cuisine, but the Cornish pasty, for me, I quite like it. But if you have more refined tastes, it might not be your thing. Anyway, the text is about Cornish pasties. You can see there are gaps. And you have to write one word. I'll repeat that, just one word in the gap. You do not have any help. It's not multiple choice. The word has got to come from in here, okay, and go into the text. So this is why it's tricky, because it requires more thinking. You don't have a choice, and you've got to really apply your knowledge of grammar. So let's look at how to do this. So let me rub this out. Okay, well, I'll leave it. Yeah, and we can proceed to the next slide. So as I said, the key here is the before and after, okay, and the grammar time. Yeah. So let's have a look at B1 grammar, which you must know. Okay. Here's a list. All right. The tenses, okay, the present tenses, simple, continuous, the past tenses, the perfect tenses, the future forms, and then modal verbs, things like have to, must, should, can, could, usually, used to, phrasal verbs. Okay, that's some of the grammar you need to know. Take a screenshot if you need to. Now, we're looking at the before and after and applying our grammar knowledge. So here is a little teaser, no, to get you going. All right, we've got a gap here. Again, the word's got to come from in here. It's one of the grammar points we have on the screen. Now, what could it be? Well, you can see here that I've written that phrasal verbs can come up, especially the prepositions after. Okay, so that is my clue. It is especially the prepositions. So look, I would love to give eating chocolate, but I just can't. All right, this is a person we look at before. This is something they want to do, but they can't. Chocolate is not very good for you if you eat too much. You know, I know it's Valentine's Day and maybe you've received or given some chocolate today, but most people would like to reduce or stop it. Now, there is a phrasal verb which we would use to stop doing something. Okay, by a phrasal verb, I mean a verb and a preposition. So anybody, if you want, write in the chat what you think the word could be, one word. I'll give you 30 seconds, no more. All right. Write it in the chat if you think you know what the word could be in this gap, and then we'll move on. About 25 seconds now. Yeah. 20 seconds. I don't see anything in the chat. Feel free to try. Remember, you don't lose marks for trying and making a mistake. You just don't get a mark. So never leave anything blank. Yeah. Anybody, if you want to try in the chat, please write it into me. You've got about 10 seconds left. Otherwise, I'll tell you the answer. And if you're tuning in later, okay, I will give you the answer in a very short moment. Right. Okay, Luis, you've written to kick off. Now, you can only use one word here, okay? You can only use one word, and it is an expression for stop. I'm going to write in the chat, Luis, yeah, okay? You can only use one word. And hello, Luis, by the way, welcome back, all right? So we have give plus a preposition, okay, which means stop. Boom, boom. So give up, okay, which is to stop something, yeah? So our one word is up. Okay, let me write that in here, give up. And I'll just make it clear, okay, if you're joining me a bit later, you can only use one word in the gap, okay, for part 6. Okay, so give up, stop, yeah, okay. Some more of the typical grammar, okay. Conditionals, let's change that actually. Let's do that with a marker, yeah. Conditionals, the passive form, and reported speech are also grammar points that you need to know. Now, I'm going to give you a clue here. Our gap here is related to the use of the passive. All right. So if we look at our before and after, we can see we've got we here. All right. And then we've got told. Now, told is past participle. So this tells us that this could be part of a passive, okay? And we've got the we form, yeah? So what is going to go in here? Now, with the passive, we're using be plus past participle. So, is this going to be present or past? Remember, it's only one word. Any guesses? I'll give you, let's say, 20 seconds, okay? To come up with your one word. What do you think is going to fit in here? What do you think, guys? Ten seconds. Remember, we've got to put the word in the correct conjugation. We've got to put the verb in the correct conjugation to complement we. After the lesson, we told by the teacher to do 2 hours homework. Any guesses? Right. Let's see. Okay, if we have no takers, no guesses, I will tell you. Okay, so we would use the passive here. It's probably going to be past. Okay, we were told. Okay. Okay, some more practice. So again, this group, okay, we're going to look at some examples of conditional uses here. Okay. Now, how do we make the conditional? Okay, the conditional is if plus our subject plus verb. Okay, and then in the second part, we'll have will or would plus infinitive. Yeah. Let's save that there. So here we have our gap before. If something the weather is nice, then we will have a barbecue. Now we can see clearly this is a conditional. So what do you think the missing word is in the gap? A short word. I'll give you 20 seconds thinking time. Feel free to write it in the chat if you think you know. Yeah, okay, so we got if from Lewis. That was quick. Okay, quite right. Yeah, if as part of the conditional. Now I gave you quite a lot of help there, but that's right. If. Okay. So we've had so far, we've had if, were, up, and they're all part of grammatical structures. Yeah, we're seeing a theme here, okay, this grammar time theme. They're all part of a grammatical structure. Okay, another one. Let's have a look at this. Now, we don't have much before here, but we do have after. To work harder than I do now. Okay, so we've got now, but later I was more motivated in the past. So this relates to this. Lewis has been very fast this time. This is more examples of your grammar. Now, your tenses, future, modals, usually used to. Okay, we've had a guess already. So I'm going to help you out, Lewis. Lewis, you're pretty close. Remember this, please, and anybody else who's listening. All right. Used is the past form. Okay. With a D on the end. Even though when you speak, you don't hear it. Okay. It's a past form. It talks about past habits. Okay. So it's used to. Is that okay, Luis? Yeah. So remember that if you're talking about past habits, I'll just write that in for you there. Past habits, okay, used to plus infinitive. Yeah, okay, with a D on the end. The negative, okay, is didn't, and this time you're using use without the T, without the D, okay? Okay. And again, looking at the before and after, Luis and anybody else who's with us, who guessed right, you've got this to, which tells us it's something which must go with to. So we've got these clues, these grammatical clues which help us. Yeah. Good stuff. Let's do a few more. Right. Coming back to conditionals, second conditionals, this time unreal situations. Spain is a beautiful place. If I were you, I would definitely spend some time in Andalusia. Now, we look at the before, if, all right, we know it's a conditional, and then we've got would. So that before tells us it's a conditional, and would tells us it's a second conditional. So we're using the before and after to get these clues. Now, you should know your grammar, okay, when you're doing the exam, but here's a reminder of the second conditional. It's if plus subject plus past past tense, then would plus infinitive. Now, this idea, if I, you, is giving advice, okay? So I'll give you 20 seconds. I've given you a few clues. Hopefully you know what this could be. There are two possibilities, two possible words here. Take your time, see if you can come up with something. I am putting myself in your situation to give you a recommendation. What do you think, guys? Feel free to write in the chat. About 10 seconds and I'll give you the answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, if I were you, yeah? Or if I was you, we can use was as well. Yeah, excuse my handwriting. Okay, if I were you or if I was you. Yeah, good little expression to give advice. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if I were you, I would. Yeah. There we go. Right, let's have a look at one more and then I can point something out to you. So some more grammar that you need to know: adjectives and adverbs, comparative, superlatives, so, such, such as, so many, prepositions, during, for, while, for, and since. So let's have a look. Right, again, let's look at the before and after. I have lived a long time. I have lived is present perfect. We have a time period. So what word do we use that goes with a time period? Any guesses? Feel free to write in the chat and I'll put some clues up on the board. Time periods. Since plus date in the past. For plus duration, time. And with this, we can think about this gap as well. I've known you, we were kids. Any takers? Right, let's help you out, guys. Okay, so this one is going to be for. Yeah, I've lived here for a long time. As I said, we always use for with duration or time. Yeah. And then I've known you, we were kids. Since we were kids, this is a point in the past. Yeah. Since. Okay, I'm going to type this actually. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Okay, and I'll type it in there, I think. Yeah, let's use that. Okay, since. Yeah. And we'll turn that into blue. Yeah, okay, since. Yeah. Okay. And we'll type the other one in, I think. Yeah, make it a bit clearer. Okay, pop. Add for. Okay, so you will see that I've used one word, and they're grammar words. They're words which have a grammatical function. They're part of a grammatical structure. And in fact, we must use a grammar word in the gaps. So, I mean, sometimes when I explain, I just say it's a grammar word. People say, what the hell is a grammar word? A grammar word, as we've seen, is a word which forms part of a grammatical structure and doesn't have an isolated meaning on its own. So you can see on my page here, I've got a few different words. Some are grammar words, some are not. Let's go through them. And if you're in the chat and you want to write down to me which ones you think are grammar words and which are not, please write in the chat. Or if you're just watching, you can guess mentally. Okay. So let's start with fun. We all love to have fun. Fun has its own meaning. Fun means enjoyment, having a good time. So this is not a grammar word. This is a noun on its own. It's got its own meaning, yeah? Right. Amazing. Amazing is an adjective which describes something. So that was an amazing film. In other words, it was brilliant. So that is not a grammar word. Right. What about would? We use would as part of a conditional. It's part of that grammatical structure. So this, yes, this is a grammar word. Okay, let's give that a tick. Yeah. Let's rub out the green so there's no confusion as well. Yeah. Okay. Fun is not a grammar word. So we'll cross that out. Bang. Goodbye. Okay. Beer. Right. Beer is not a grammar word. All right. Beer is a noun. It's something we drink. Something some people enjoy a lot. Some people enjoy a little. I enjoy a little, but it's not a grammar word. Okay. And in fact, too much of it does not help your grammar either. Yeah. So no. Should. When do we use should? You should study if you're going to do an exam. We're making a recommendation, so it has this function of recommendation, and it's kind of a conditional as well. So should is definitely a grammar word. Many. How many people are there? We use many to ask about the number of people. There aren't many people. So it has this function of asking about numbers. So that is a grammar word. We can use that for part 6. To is a grammar word. It's a preposition. So I am looking forward to seeing you. It's part of an infinitive as well. I want to go. I want to go. To go is the infinitive. That's definitely a grammar word. Okay, Christine, who is my sister. Sorry, what am I ticking for? This is the name of a person. That is not a grammar word. Okay. Sorry, Christine. Sorry, sister. Yeah, you're not allowed. Up. Up is a preposition. We've seen it already. Give up. So it could be part of a phrasal verb, but it could also be a preposition on its own, like look up. Yeah, look up or look down. So that's definitely a grammar word. And sadly is not a grammar word. Sadly is an adverb which describes the situation of something. Okay. Sadly, he didn't pass because he did no study. Yeah. Or sadly, it's not easy to learn a new instrument or whatever. Yeah. So that's a kind of a list of grammar words. So grammar words all have a grammatical function. And if you want a reminder of some of the words that we could find, any of the words that are included in these functions on the page can be grammar words. Yeah. Okay. Any words which make up part of these functions. So let's have a look, shall we, at part 6. We've done a bit of practice. And here is a summary of how to approach part 6. I would say read the entire text first, because this gives you a global understanding of the text. Yeah. So take a quick minute to read the text, scan the text. In fact, I'm gonna share my timer, okay, because I'm starting to time now. So one moment, let me just share my entire screen. Right, I've got my screen there. I'll move this out the way, and I'll get my timer onto the scene. Right. So you have a minute to read the text quickly. Okay, right. Now hold on, let's stop that. Yeah. Okay. That's your minute. So the next thing is you're going to start looking at the answers, looking at the before and after, and trying to think about what the grammatical structure is, so you can put your one word, your one grammar word in the gap. As I said, use only one word, use a grammar word. And once you've done it, write your answer on the paper right here, and then read it to yourself to check. So let's do the first one together. Now we're looking at our before and after. Okay. I thought I'd write, tell you about something I've eaten which I loved. If you know the answer straight away, well done, good for you. I'll just give you some clues. You've got a gap, write, tell. Now, tell is an infinitive, or it's part of an infinitive. So there is a word that often goes before an infinitive, which explains why you do something. We call this the infinitive of reason or purpose. Okay, so if you think you know and you're with me, write it in the gap. But if you're not sure, I shall help you. I thought I'd write to tell you. Okay, this gives us the reason why I thought I would write. Now we're going to write that in there, okay, and just read it back to ourselves. I'm having a fantastic time here in the UK, and I thought I'd write to tell you about something I've eaten which I loved. If it sounds good, you're good to go, and you can move on to the next one. Now again, moving on to the next one, which we'll do together. All right, we look at our before and after. I'm in a place called Cornwall. We have a comma, which is important, because after a comma, you get a certain grammatical structure. Something is in the southwest. Now, I'll write it in the blue. After a comma, you will have a relative pronoun. Something like which. Yeah? Okay, and that defines it. Yeah, I'm in a place called Cornwall, which is in the southwest. Yeah, we looked at our comma. We have a verb after, is. Okay, we don't have a subject, so we're going to use a relative pronoun. Yeah. Okay, now, yeah, let's do number 3 together, and then I'll let you guys work on 4, 5, and 6. So reading on, again, we're looking at the before and after. Cornish pasties have, okay, verb have, interesting history. Adjective and noun, all right? Our before is a verb, gap, adjective and noun. What goes before an adjective and noun? An article, okay? Now, interesting begins with a vowel. It begins with I. So what article do we always use before a word which begins with a vowel? Hopefully, I've given you a clue. Before adjective and noun. Okay. Now, if it begins with a vowel, I, for example, then you are going to use an. Okay. Yeah, let me just edit that. In fact, yeah, an plus vowel. Okay. Yeah. Another example could be an apple. Okay. An uninteresting event. Okay, so you can see that there are lots of different grammar rules being applied here, which is why it's key that you have that grammar knowledge already, yeah, before you start doing the exam. So let me just write in the answer here, and I will hand it over to you guys to have a go at at 4, 5, and 6. I'll give you, let's see, 4 minutes, okay? Luis 2, yes, I've just seen your answer in the chat, Luis. Sorry, maybe I need to scroll down, okay? 2, were you talking about number 1? Was that number 1, Luis? If so, that is correct. Yeah, perhaps there's a bit of a delay there, okay? Right, 5 minutes, okay, for 4, 5, and 6. We set the clock. I need to reset it, don't I? Yeah. Reset. Feel free, if you're with me right now, to write the answers in the chat. While you're doing this, I'll give you a few clues about how they relate, okay? Okay, Luis, number 4, right? This relates to the miners. Whose lunch is it? Whose lunch does it belong to? Who does the lunch belong to? Yeah? We're looking to indicate that it belongs to them, which we do in English, right? This is my phone. It belongs to me. I'm sitting down holding my phone, nobody else's. Okay? That's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Yeah, well done, Luis. Okay. Yeah. Feel free to write the answers in as you go, as Luis is doing there. Okay, because that indicates possession. Okay. And in English, Luis, maybe not so much in your language. I think it's Portuguese is your language, isn't it? We always indicate the possession. Okay. Yeah. I hurt my arm. He hurt his arm. She is sitting down to eat her dinner. Okay. Right. Now, more clues, okay, for number 5. Looking at the tense, all right, worked, were is past tense, isn't it? Okay, now, Luis, check your spelling there, okay? The clue is actually in the text, yeah? Luis, we're talking in the past. Right, let me write in the chat to you, okay? First guess, correct, but check your spelling, okay? And have a look in the text for a clue. That's it. Good man. Yes, well done, Luis. Okay. Yeah, look, the text often gives you clues as well. Okay. So we've got the last one. We're coming up to number 6. Have a look. If you're with me, write in the chat. Luis, that would not give you points in this case because we're really focusing on the precision of the grammar. All right. But that's why we're here to practice. So you will know in the day of the exam. Yeah. Because where talks about place, doesn't it? This is where I live. Right. So that's a different use. Yeah. Whereas were in the past, yeah, is be in the past. So you wouldn't get a point for that. Okay. Yeah. Not in this part of the exam where the grammar is important. All right. So no, unfortunately. Yeah. But now you know the rule, yeah? Okay. So the last one, number 6, we've got a verb here. What comes before a verb? A subject. With seem, it's impersonal. So we're thinking about subjects. It can't be any subject. It can't be Richard seems a shame. It needs to be a pronoun. Okay. What do you think, guys? Anybody? Any takers? Yes, Luis, well done. Okay. So I'm just going to write these answers in. Okay, good work from Luis and anybody else who's watching this later. Hopefully you got these right. Your grammar's down. But if you didn't, then it's a point to revise and review and reflect. So let me just put in these answers. You'll see them in the chat. But their lunch. All right, let's make this smaller. Okay, there we go. Their lunch. Okay. One more. Were. Make that a bit smaller. Okay. And the last one, it. Okay. Oops. Make that a bit smaller there. Now, what you would do is you would read that to yourself to check that it sounds okay. Yeah, but we spent enough time on this. We're pretty sure that's good. Yeah. So let's move on quickly. Time is passing by quite quick. So as I always say, make sure when you've finished that you move across to your answer sheet and you transcribe your answer. It needs to be in block capitals. So our first answer was 2. Now we're going to write that in block capitals. 2. Not joined up writing, separated, yeah? Block capitals. Write nice and clear so the examiner can understand what you've written. Yeah, you will lose a mark if the examiner can't read what you've written and they're not sure what you've written. Okay. So, in summary, yeah, part 6. To do it as fast and efficiently as possible, read the text, 1 minute. Look at your before and after to help you form a global picture of the grammar. Use one word, only a grammar word, a word which is part of a grammatical function. Write your answer in the paper, read it to yourself. When you're happy, go across to your answer sheet and write it in. And that is the best and fastest way to do part 6. But before you even think about part 6, make sure you've got all of this grammar knowledge down. Yeah, you can have another look through the video to have a look at the B1 grammar points that I've highlighted here, but you will find them in any good B1 book. It will cover all the grammar points that you need to cover. So I said that, let me move across. I said that I'd give you a couple of bonus language points. Now, the first thing was that we were looking at the present perfect. It came up. The present perfect is great for speaking and writing. We use it to talk about something which started in the past and continues until today. Great phrase here. It's been ages since I've heard from you. Right? Great phrase for your writing. A sport or something you love. I've played football all my life. Experience. I've been in this school for 10 years. I've been a teacher for 15 years. You haven't seen someone for ages. I know we haven't seen each other for a while. Excuse my spelling, okay? Or, you know, I've known Maria since we were kids. Yeah, we've known each other for a long time. Luis, you've answered me. You've asked my question. Is that okay, Luis? Jumping to question and answer. If it is computer based, don't worry. You can just type in your answer, no problem. All right. It's only if it's paper based. Yeah. Computer based, obviously the handwriting doesn't matter. You can type it in and that's fine. Okay. Yeah. It's only if it's paper based. I'll write that in the chat as well. Yeah. So. Okay. You can use lowercase. Is fine. Yeah. Paper based. Capitals. Block capitals meaning separated. Yeah. Neat writing. Yeah. Clear handwriting. Yeah. Guarantee your mark. Okay. Now, I did say it's Valentine's Day, you know, if you're romantic, okay, I said I'd give you a couple of bits of vocabulary that could be nice for Valentine's Day. For example, okay, I'm fond of my dog, okay, meaning I have deep feelings for my dog. I better change that. I better start with my wife first, okay? She's the number one priority, yeah? Okay, so I'm fond of my wife. I have deep feelings for my wife. So fond of is a nice expression to say when you have very kind of strong or deep feelings for someone. Yes, wife first, Louise, you're right. Okay. I don't think she's listening, so I think I'm okay. I think I've got away from that. But my point is with this, you know, you don't have to use this for someone you're in a romantic relationship with. You can use this for someone who's very important to you. So I'm also fond of my sister, Christine. I'm fond of my best friend. We've known each other since we were kids. Yes, I'm fond of this person. They've got a special place in my heart. Okay, so that's a nice little phrase related to Valentine's. Yeah, to be fond of someone. Yeah, okay. And again, if you're talking about relationships, you can use the present perfect to talk about how long you've known someone. I've known my wife for 15 years. I've known my best friend for 25 years. Or I've known my best friend since we were 10 years old. All right. And we are very fond of each other. Yeah. We have good feelings, special feelings. We are close. All right. So two nice bits of vocabulary related to Valentine's Day and having special or important feelings for people. Right, I've done my romantic bit for the day. Okay, so we've gone slightly over time. My apologies. If you have any questions, please ask me now. I'll sit and twiddle my thumbs for a little while and look at the camera. Write the questions in the chat if you're with me right now. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining me, and I wish you all the best with this part 6 of the exam. Go and practice. If you've got your grammar knowledge, go ahead and practice. So any questions? Luis, any questions? Or have I answered your question already? No, thank you, Luis. Okay, so if there are no more questions, I will say thank you very much. If you like the lesson, like it, subscribe to home studies, set notifications so you get notifications for these classes. We have private or group classes as well. If you need a bit of extra practice, you need that extra push. And as with every Wednesday, 6 o'clock Central European time, we've got another class. I love vocabulary. I love teaching vocabulary. We're going to be looking at key vocabulary for next lesson. This will be really useful for all parts of the exam. So I'm excited about this next part of the this next lesson. Yeah. Remember, guys, to do the exam, you need your B1 grammar down before you start practicing. Yeah, get that B1 grammar down, do the books, make sure you understand all the grammar points before you can start applying it in this part of the exam. Okay, guys, take care. Happy Valentine's, happy whatever. Okay, I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Yeah, take care, guys. Right, I'll sign out. We'll wrap it up. Yeah. If I can move my mouse across, find it. Yeah. Okay, that's it, guys. That's a wrap.